Hello YouTube, this is Mars Gaming and welcome to my ESO farming guide. I'll be sharing my methods on how to make your first 100k gold and beyond. This guide is what I've done myself as well as learned from other players throughout the time I've spent playing ESO and what I use currently, so I never have to worry about money when I want to buy one of the player homes or looking to make a new build. This guide will help you make a lot of money no matter the level. I'll be going through the guide in sections from level 1 to CP 159, then carry over to CP 160 and beyond. This will pertain to people who move at a snail's pace like me, that like to craft and don't like to craft, and the predominantly lazy. So grab some chips and a Coke, and let me show you how to make money in the most effective ways in ESO. Starting at level 1 to CP 159, it's important to join a guild that has a guild trader close to each and every week, but don't go for a guild that go for a free trading guild first. It's easier, you don't have to worry about any fees because having a guild trader costs money. But if it's in a if your guild purchases a guild trader in a location that doesn't cost a lot to have or isn't always competitive, go for that one. You'll be introduced in how the guild trading system works very easily, and you won't have to pay as you go. But you should go with the pay as you go guild trader later in the future, since it's just better. It's better to have. You'll make a lot more money that way in the future. That's only when you get sustainable income. Okay, first off, resources. One of the most basic ways is to collect resources, even if it's low level. All types of raw materials drop upgrade materials. They drop upgrade materials, which is always in demand. For example, ores, cloths, hides, enchanting items, wood, raw lumber, basically, and alchemy reagents, even ingredients for meals and food. Let me show you a few of them. I don't have any tempering alloys, which is the resource material from ores. I don't have any because I've used them all. There's the Kuda for enchanting. The perfect roe for fish. From fish, you can basically get this from any kind of fish in the game. It's not very easy to get. I get them every now and again if I collect a lot of fish. I feel like every time I collect around 200 to 300 fish, I get about 2 or 3 of these. Usually just 2 if I'm lucky. And rosin, you get this from wood. And dregs wax, you get this from clothing. Dreg wax and rosin are probably the much easier ones to get. Tempering alloys take a bit more time to get, and sometimes RNG will not give you any, even from a huge stack of them. But sometimes you do get a pretty decent amount. I would show you some, but I used them all recently. Going back on topic, usually these, if you're farming resources, if you're selling resources, sell them in a stack of 200. For example, sell a stack of ore. A stack of ore is 200. A stack of hide is 200. A stack of cloth is 200. Collecting ores happens to be one of the easiest and most profitable, and one of the most profitable ways to earn money. But more profitable than that is hides and cloth, since they take more time to accumulate, and sometimes can be harder to find if you're in a bad location. The best farming locations are in secluded areas where you see less people, and some areas spawn more spawn nodes faster than others. So take that into account and don't completely move away from that spot. Move in a rotation around it. Now, touching on the farming locations again, have more than one and don't go for the popular areas. Too many people are farming at one time, and they are not afraid to take your loot, even if you are fighting a creature to get to that loot. Basically, what some players will do, they'll let you fight the creature, come right behind you, and take your loot from you. Scumbags, I know. Make sure to farm your resources in a place that is absolutely haunted for your best results. Examples of this are the northern parts of Arden. I can go to the map. Northern parts of Arden, because there's almost no one in this section. I rarely see people up here. Another place is the Alakir Desert, the eastern side of the Alakir Desert. I rarely see people in this section. And another place is the southern part of Shadowfen. Southern areas of Shadowfen are almost haunted a majority of the time, which is good, which is really good for farmers. Next, and probably the most important one, is questing and dungeoneering. This should be the most basic one in the beginning, unless you just want to farm right from the get-go. This is not only the most important for leveling, but lining your pockets so you can get more bag space, which I'll touch on bag space in a minute. Some quests give more gold than others and require you to kill enemies that drop junk items you can sell to NPCs. The same goes for dungeons, because they drop even more junk to dismantle or sell. Now, bag space, bank space, and mounts. You know how the old saying goes, you gotta spend money to make money. Increasing your storage capabilities will increase the time you spend collecting materials, resources, and gear, and less time figuring out where to put it. Also, make sure to upgrade your mount each day to improve your speed and storage capacity. I'm saying each day because you can only upgrade your mount each day. It'd be smart to upgrade your speed or your bag first, just for the fact that you either want to go faster or you'll be a pack mule. The decision is primarily up to you. Next is the daily crafting writs, and probably one of the most sustainable ways to make gold in ESO for a lazy person. So basically, daily crafting writs, let's go through this. Even if you don't craft very often or at all, do your daily crafting writs daily. Do them every day. At lower levels, you don't make a whole lot from them, but you can still get a gold level upgrade material like I just showed you at low levels. It is possible. I think the earliest I've gotten tempering alloy was level 14. If I remember correctly, it was level 14, because it was the first time I ever saw one, and first time I ever saw it in the game. Not to mention, you get a lot of resources and get more stuff to sell to other players and or NPCs. So basically, in order to get introduced to crafting writs, once you get to the major areas, for example, since I'm a Red Guard and I'm in the Daggerfall Covenant, go to the map. So I started in Stros Mackay, I moved then to Betnik, and then when I got to Glenumbra, if I can find it, Glenumbra, started in Daggerfall. So basically in Daggerfall there will be a person, I forget her name, she's a wood elf with red hair, you'll know her when you see her. I think her name is Millineth. And there's another character called, I don't remember his name either, but he's in the Mages Guild in Daggerfall Covenant. Basically, they give you these crafting, they give you the ability to get these quests called the daily crafting writs, but they have small conditions. They just introduce you into crafting in this game, which is very simple and not hard to go through. It's very easy to understand, and you will definitely get everything you need to engage with crafting and doing the writs. So basically, each day you get 6 crafting writs per character, which is very reasonable to do them. Now I'm going to do some math for you. So for example, I'm a level 50 character. So my writs by default, because I'm level 50, is each writ I turned in is worth about 664 gold, no matter my crafting skill. This character has literally no crafting skill. I've leveled them up. I'm going to show you. They've been leveled up, but they're all still a level 1, and I make 664 gold per crafting writ. So 6 times 664 equals 3,984 gold. Plus, you get item coffers, which I'll show you now. This is what they look like. This is for a low-level character. See, alchemy. This is the blacksmith. You primarily get stuff to either sell or keep or dismantle, like basically intricate stuff, or maybe gold tier. I'm going to show you on a low-level crafter first, which is this one. You also get woodworking surveys, as well as you get these are basically the woodworking, the cloth, and the blacksmithing, and also the alchemy surveys. These give you a higher amount of materials. These aren't like the other ones, like anything else. Like if you see a node in game, They give you about 1 or 2 or even 3 resources, while these give you 10 and maybe 10 or maybe even 20, depending on how high your skill tree is for gathering materials. My skill tree is set up in the champion points tree. I have a chance of getting almost 40 resources from one node, depending on what I usually get. If it's cloth, I'm gonna have a higher chance. I have a pretty high chance of getting it. Now these materials can either be sold or used to upgrade your crafting level. Usually I sell all my junk just to get a little bit more gold in the pocket. It comes in handy. Now I'm going to show you on a higher level crafter. Okay, this is my master crafter. I'm going to show you the skills that I have for crafting. This one is completely maxed out except for alchemy. I do alchemy on another character. So I'm going to show you the coffers that I got on this character. I got tempering alloys yesterday, and I got it today. It is very easy on a higher level crafter who does their daily writs every day to get these. This is one of the easiest ways to get tempering alloys if you don't get them easily from ores. Also, there's the daily what is it? The daily, I'm sorry, let me go to the skill real quick, so I don't remember what it's called. Ah yes, the hirelings. The hirelings also have a chance of dropping you stuff depending on the type of day. They have a specific way it's set up. Now going back to supplies, I usually get a lot of gold tier supplies very often. Usually get a lot of resources, and also grand repair kits too are very nice to get. Also get stuff to put into the bank, and I also get sealed provisioning writs and crafting writs. These are also worth money, and you can also sell these, or you can keep these and turn these quest items in to Rawless Hlalu, who is usually stationed in the 3 major areas of each faction in the game. Now back to the math. So basically, if you do this on one character, you get 4.5 thousand gold each day. If you sell all the junk items that you don't want, or you keep some of them and just sell whatever else you don't want, so you make 4,500 gold a day. Now if you do that for 5 days, you can multiply that by 5. That's 22,500 gold every week. Now from my own experience, I have 4 characters that I do this on each week. So multiply that 22,500 gold per week. Multiply that by 4 because of 4 characters. So that's 90,000 gold per week. Now you don't have to be super consistent with this method, but you can do it at your leisure and still have a sustainable amount of income for the game. Now moving on, the next thing is junk. So any kind of junk item you have early on in the game, since you're low level and you're between the level of level 1 and level 159 champion points, don't keep any of your gear. Don't keep any of your gear because it's practically going to be useless soon. Once you get the 160 CP, all your gear is going to be useless. You're not going to want to keep it. You're going to be constantly leveling and improving your own stuff by that point. Don't keep it. Don't repair it. Sell it or dismantle it. Or if you even intend to keep something, it needs to be 160 CP if you plan on selling it. Now the next thing I wanted to touch on is upselling. Basically, it's buying a cheap item and selling it for a reasonably higher price. This can be done by going to a really cheap guild trader and buying gear or items that are sought after by other players. This method is easy and effective, but comes at a risk of not being able to sell the item in question. But this is mainly trial and error. You're testing your ability to sell an item at the appropriate price, as well as making lots of money in the process from other money-making abilities. While you're looking for an item to buy, then sell, make sure it's an item that sells easily, like resources or reliable gear sets or weapons. I would say housing items, but they have to be really good ones, as well as rare or highly sought after. You don't want to sell the basic green ones because they don't sell very well. Also, make sure you make a good profit off of them. Even 500 gold is a good profit. Any kind of profit is good. So basically with upselling, make sure you understand what is valuable to other players, and make sure it's above 160. Make sure the gear is at 160 champion points, because selling it any less than that is going to be pointless. Next is something I learned about recently, a few months ago actually. The guild sales history. The guild sales history is something I learned about. It records everything that is bought and sold at the guild respective trader. The history can be accessed from the guild menu in the starting menu. This is very important because it can give you a good indicator of what's being sold when no one will tell you what's popular and what isn't. So I'm going to go to my social menu. I'm going to go down to guilds. Now I'm in 4 guilds right now. I'm going to go to the 4 of the north. I'm going to go to history, since this is the one I make most of my money. Now it shows you all of this. Now when you go to sales, here you go. You can see purchases. These are all the items purchased in the last, up to now, basically. This is literally up to now, since it said 1 minute ago. You can pretty much see what's being sold. Most people buy a lot of resources and crafting items and basically leveling items. Yeah, people buy a lot of resources, as what you can see right now. 1 maple lightning staff. This is probably a Nerdhone lightning staff. No, probably not. It's probably a Nerdhone. Okay. But yeah, a lot of people sell a lot of resources throughout the guild trader. That's what you see a lot in here. Sometimes gear, if people are testing stuff out or looking for specific items, this is where people go. So always do your best to look at this. Okay, moving on to CP 160 now. First off, I want to say congratulations for sticking with the game this far, and to tell you the grind just went much further. I'm going to share some of my secrets with you to make even more gold, since you have much more spinning power and flexibility. Excuse me. The treasure hunter passive. Now in your CP skill tree, you will see this shadow section. Champion points, here we go. The shadow. Okay. Once you activate the treasure hunter passive, you'll be able to get a lot of gear set items at a much higher rate, as well as getting improved drops. I always have this ability on every character I play. It's just too valuable as a crafter. I say that because first off, in the shadow tree, it gives a lot of stuff that that is very good. For example, Fortune Seeker increases the amount of gold you find in treasure chests, and safe boxes by 50%. If you know where a lot of treasure chests spawn, and I'll go through that in a minute, this is going to come in handy. Reduce the cost of repairing your armor by 10%. Once you get to once you get to champion points 160, this is going to come in handy. You're really going to want this. And the treasure hunter passive. Increase the quality of items you find in treasure chests. Now this is any kind of chest, any kind of, I would say, dresser drawer, but I don't think those affect it. If you steal a lot, it might affect you as well, but I don't think so. It's primarily treasure chests and thief troves, which is still very, very good. Now this is one of the better ones, because if you like to sell a lot of items, if you're a PvPer and you always look for specific items, this passive is a must-have. I always have these on all my characters. I just have to. Next is probably one of the most labor-intensive ones. Make another character. Yeah, the more the merrier. Make another character. The good thing about having more than one character is they can be a pack mule, as well as bring in income from their own questing. Not to mention, you can activate your champion points at the beginning of that new character, which means you have a whole nother set of points for that character. You don't have to reset with the champion points, because everything is connected to this game. All your characters, all your bank space, all your materials are connected in this game. Unless you have, even your inventory if you have the craft bag like I do. I have the craft bag. I pay ESO plus monthly. And also, each character has their own RNG, which is also really good, which means you have a higher chance of getting specific items or different items or even better items on different characters. So it's always better to have multiple max characters for when you're farming loot. It's just better chances. Next is gear and chest farming, as well as gold farming. I'm not saying the treasure maps, those are something that don't waste money on those, because it takes too much time to do those. I'm literally saying it's treasure chest farming. I farm for gear and weapons that are popular and never used myself. I want to keep it unless I keep it for testing. People always need stuff that the best players are using, and knowing how to get it easily will make you rich. I myself have a few chest farming guides on this channel. If you go back and look through my videos, or I'll put something in the description that'll lead to those videos, I will show you how I use those methods, and it'll help you. I make money off this. I make money in the game off of these guides because I use them extensively myself. I've memorized the chest rotations, as well as knowing when and where they spawn. I know where most of this, for Werewolf Hide, I know where almost all of them spawn. I even have some hidden away that was not in that video, specifically for the fact that it was so out of the way that I didn't put it in there. So I will be putting that in the description. Also, delves and public dungeons are a good source of getting weapons and gear. Even delves drop super unique gear sets, which makes them easy to get and sell. For example, let me show you on the map. Glenumbra. Since I farm a lot in Glenumbra, let's see, right here, the Crypt Watch Fort. There's a unique werewolf dagger that drops from the boss. It's not too easy to get, but it drops in this location, and you can get it from here if you farm enough, and if you have enough time to farm it. And plus, it's Werewolf Hide is in demand right now since a lot of people are running it. It's pretty much good on almost any build. Just putting that out there. Do as you will with the information. Also, killing humanoid creatures in public dungeons is a great way to make gold. It's a very easy way to farm gold. Very easy way to farm gold if you have the time. It would be a lot easier if they left Prosperous the way it was instead of adding Invigoration, which I wish they did leave Prosperous alone, because even though it wasn't a great perk for like PvP or PvE too much, it did yield a lot of gold if you had time to just farm, especially if you had a whole gear set dedicated to it. You'd make almost twice the amount of gold you did normally. And now some of the public dungeons that have a lot of humanoid creatures, in Bankarai there's Razak's Wheel, there's the Alakir Desert. I'm sorry. There's the Alakir Desert's public dungeon. Let's see, it is... might not have it on this character, but there's a public dungeon in the Alakir Desert that drops a lot of gold. Well, it has a lot of humanoid enemies that can yield a lot of gold, as well as one in Malabal Tor. That one does it much faster than the others because the enemies spawn at a very fast rate. So the one in Malabal Tor is also a very good one. Next, one of my most held secrets. A node is a node is a node, and everything is a node. The world is a node. You have the ability to acquire the best item in the game from a skeever. Let that sink in. Collect everything and kill everything. Everything is a node. And my last bit of help, RNG is a fickle beast, but if you're not getting any good items or gear to sell, then do something else. Go fight monsters, world bosses, or go fishing. Hell, go steal from banks if you can. There are so many ways to play this game. There is no right way. Plus, you can accidentally stumble on a gold mine doing so. So when nothing is dropping for you, or No, if nothing is dropping for you, just go have fun and play the game. This game, you play this game for the adventure and interaction with other players and people. And hey, you never know. You might run into someone who is looking for what you're selling. That's pretty much it, guys. I hope this helps. I hope you found this enjoyable. This is Mars Gaming saying peace. May Zenithar bless you with riches beyond your wildest dreams. Have a good one.